You are brilliant. Perhaps too brilliant. And that is exactly what will destroy you. Listen closely. Every single day, someone in this world loses a promotion, a partnership, or their entire career. Not because they were weak, but because they were too good. In the wrong moment. In the wrong room. In front of the wrong person. In the architecture of power, this is called the superiority trap. It is a silent predator. It isn't found in any corporate handbook or KPI report. It's a mechanism of the human firmware that hasn't changed in 10,000 years. It triggers the moment you stop being an asset to your leader and start becoming a mirror, one that reflects their own mediocrity. Robert Greene codified this in 1998, but the logic is as old as the first throne. Today, we decode law number 1, never outshine the master. By the end of this video, you will look at your office, your social circle, and your hierarchy through a very different lens. You will stop being a target and start being a player. The law states, always make those above you feel comfortably superior. It sounds simple, almost too simple. Most people hear this and think, got it, just don't brag. And then they proceed to make the exact same mistake, because they don't understand the chemistry of insecurity. In any hierarchy, corporate, political, or social, there is a master. This is the person who holds the keys to your next move. The master has a vulnerability they will never admit. Their ego is fragile. Their self-worth is intrinsically tied to the perception of their own significance. This isn't a personality flaw. It's a biological imperative. Power requires constant validation. Then you arrive, young, fast, sharp. You solve problems in hours that took them weeks. You see patterns they missed. You aren't attacking them. You're just existing at a high frequency. But to their limbic system, your excellence is an act of war. Dark psychology isn't about what you do. It's about how you are perceived. The moment the master perceives you as a threat to their status, logic vanishes. Instinct takes over, and their instinct is singular, to neutralize the source of their discomfort. Let's look at Alex, 32 years old, a lead systems architect at a premier AI firm in San Francisco. Alex wasn't just a coder, he was what we call a disruptor. He didn't just write programs, he built digital ecosystems that define the company's future. He moved through the glass-walled offices with a quiet, terrifying efficiency, solving problems before others even realized they existed. His director was Sarah, 50 years old. Sarah had been with the firm since the IPO. She was a respected strategist, a veteran of 1,000 corporate wars. But in this industry, time is a predator. Her technical edge had dulled over the years. She had become a manager of people, relying on her vision and past experience to maintain her seat at the high table. She knew how to play the corporate game, but she no longer knew how to build the board. For the first year, the symbiosis was perfect. It was a masterpiece of cooperation. Alex produced technical miracles in the background, and Sarah presented them to the board of directors in the foreground. Sarah looked at Alex as her star find. She treated him like a crown jewel, shielding him from office politics. His brilliance was a direct reflection of her leadership. In her mind, his genius made her look like a visionary for having the foresight to hire him. The master was satisfied because she felt in control of the light. Alex was the lamp, but Sarah was the one holding it. This is the honeymoon phase of the power dynamic. As long as the master believes your talent is their property, you are safe. But then came the boardroom incident. The day the light moved. It was a high-stakes investor pitch. The air in the room was thick with the scent of expensive coffee and silent pressure. A venture capitalist from a top-tier fund leaned forward and asked a lethal, complex question about the scalability of their neural architecture. Sarah began to answer. She used the corporate jargon she had mastered over decades. Her response was competent. It was safe. But to the room, it felt dated. It lacked the sharp edge of the future. Alex, driven by pure, naive passion, I interjected. He didn't just correct her. He laid out a vision so precise, so far ahead of the competition, that the entire room went silent. You could hear the hum of the air conditioning. The lead investor looked past Sarah, straight at Alex, and said, "That is the smartest thing I've heard in this building for 5 years." The meeting ended in a standing ovation. Sarah smiled. She even patted Alex on the back as they walked out. But if Alex had looked into her eyes, rather than his notes, he would have seen the code there. The code had been broken. Alex hadn't just solved a problem. He had made Sarah feel obsolete in front of the very people she needed to impress. Over the next month, the corporate silence set in. It was a slow, agonizing freeze. Alex was no longer CC'd on strategic emails. His budget for the next quarter was placed under review. During a Friday debrief, Sarah remarked, casually, with a predatory kindness, that Alex's technical brilliance sometimes clouds his understanding of the bigger business picture. Alex was confused. He thought his results would be his armor. He was wrong. In the world of power, efficiency is a liability when it triggers an amygdala hijack in your boss. 6 months later, Alex was moved into a special projects role. No team, no budget, no future. He left the company, still wondering where he went wrong. He thought he was playing a game of merit. He was actually playing a game of ego, and he lost. Why does this happen? Let's decode the firmware. Social neuroscience, specifically the work of researchers at Yale, shows that when a human perceives a threat to their social status, the brain reacts as if it's facing physical violence. The prefrontal cortex, the seat of logic, shuts down. The amygdala takes over. For Sarah, Alex wasn't an employee. He was a predator in her territory. Her nervous system didn't care about the company's stock price. It cared about her survival at the top of the food chain. This is the status syndrome. Leaders who allow subordinates to outshine them publicly lose their perceived authority. Our biology is still programmed with this survival protocol. Mastery of dark psychology isn't about being evil. It's about having the emotional intelligence to realize that your boss's ego is a variable you must control. Your brilliance should be a light that makes the master look brighter, not a sun that blinds them. How do you shine without getting burned? 3 protocols for the elite player. First, the attribution pivot. When praised in the master's presence, immediately redirect the credit. Mention how their guidance made your result possible. It's not a lie. It's a tactical repositioning. Second, the discovery maneuver. Seed your best ideas so the master can discover them. They get the ego hit. You get the execution. Third, the private reveal. Never demonstrate superiority in public. Show your brilliance in private where the master feels safe. Alex was a genius, but he was naive. You don't have that excuse. The code is active. Stay with us. We have 47 more laws to decode. Subscribe to see reality for what it truly is. I am Michael. This is Project Dark Code.